sports partner.
Third-party insurance is mandatory under the law. It covers death or bodily injury to passengers, death or bodily injury to pedestrians, and damage to third-party property. Third-party policy does not cover the loss or damage by fire, theft, and accident to the vehicle. It also does not cover the owner of the vehicle and the driver. Consider taking a personal accident to cover driver and owner of the vehicle. Motor vehicle insurance cover is not transferable. When you sell your vehicle, remember to cancel your policy. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority, IRA. Bima bora kwa taifa.
Good evening from wherever you're watching us. This is Prime Edition coming to you live from Broadcasting House here in the capital city, Nairobi, Kenya. My name is Mboya. We have a lot coming to you from this Broadcasting House. Remember, tonight we're expecting the presidential address all the way from Georgia, Atlanta. All that coming up, including a look at the day's business, and later on we're going to see what the sports people have for us. But first things first, on Prime Edition, our top stories. President Ruto speaks tonight from Atlanta, Georgia, on the first of his 4-day state tour visit to the U.S. of A. The world mourns the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, who perished in a chopper crash. And also, coming up, 600 million people fall ill from contaminated food right across the globe, leading to close to 500,000 deaths every year. Thank you very much for your patience. A technical hitch, we are sorting that out. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Lensa Odinga. Our socials, talk to us, tell us where you're watching us from. All our social media handles at KBC Channel 1. Now, any time from now, President William Ruto, who is on a 4-day visit to the United States of America, is expected to speak. Where will he be delivering that speech from? The Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and also the museum in Atlanta, Georgia. The president, in his speech, is expected to address a number of issues, key among them democracy, shared commitment, and governance, anti-corruption measures that his government has put in place. Let's just look at what JJ Curia put for us together as we await that speech from His Excellency the President.
10:30 a.m. in Atlanta, Georgia. Wheels on tarmac. At the iconic Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. President William Ruto disembarks from his plane as history is made. The third president of Kenya to be hosted for a state visit in the U.S. after the late President Mwai Kibaki in 2003 and the late President Daniel Arap Moi in 1980. To receive him, senior U.S. government officials including Biden's top envoy to Kenya, Meg Whitman, and outgoing Kenya's top diplomat in the U.S., Lazarus Amayo. His tour in Atlanta will see him visit the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library and Museum, where he is expected to deliver a keynote speech on democracy. He will then visit Ebenezer Baptist Church to pay homage to the civil rights struggle and emphasize how religion can be a force for good. His third engagement will focus on the U.S.-Kenya health partnership of the Center for Disease Control, CDC headquarters. During his stay in Atlanta, Ruto is also scheduled to meet Kenyans living in Atlanta and also visit the Tyler Perry Studios, where he will explore opportunities within the creative economy. The formal state visit ceremony will be on Thursday, when he is hosted in Washington, D.C. by U.S. President Joe Biden. John Jacob Curia, Prime Edition.
President William Ruto becomes the third president of Kenya to be hosted by the state in the U.S. after the late President Mwai Kibaki. Will remember that it happened in the year 2003, and of course earlier on, President Daniel Arap Moi was also hosted in the year 1980. So we'll be waiting to bring you the president's speech tonight from Atlanta, Georgia. Meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is appealing to the international partners to enhance their support for programs that are geared towards battling the adverse effects of climate change in the country. Speaking when he hosted the Common Board of Trustees of the Center for International Forestry Research and the International Center for Research in Agroforestry at his official residence here in Nairobi, Kenya, the Deputy President said that the government has scaled up response to mitigate against adverse effects of climate change. Like the current floods, we all remember that, the drought that has been ravaging parts of the country. Here now is a look at that report.
For weeks, various parts of the country have been experiencing heavy downpour that has led to loss of lives and livelihood. The effects of climate change now are a concern for the current administration. The Deputy President is now calling on Kenya's trusted partners in the international community to lend a hand in mitigating the current crisis.
And the people of this great country have come to terms with reality is that climate change is real. And therefore, as a government, we have come up with a program to grow 15 billion trees by the year 2032.
And as we witness the devastating effects of the floods, we really stand with the Kenyan people during this difficult time of recovery, where they have suffered deaths, displacements, and suffering because of the catastrophe.
Speaking when he hosted the Common Board of Trustees of the Center for International Forestry Research and the International Center for Research in Agroforestry at his official residence in Karen, Nairobi, the DP said the ongoing program targeting 15 billion trees by 2032 will not only be greatly beneficial for Kenya, but also for the key allies.
because much as we're asking Kenyans to grow trees, we need to encourage them by taking them to a direction that also has a benefit. The issues of avocado, macadamia, coffee, mangoes are issues that we need a lot of support.
In view of the government's commitment of 15 billion trees, we were talking, Excellency, about the right tree for the right purpose in the right place, and the real importance of growing trees and not just planting trees.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua also called on them to boost the restoration of the rivers in Nairobi, saying their input was critical in ensuring the success of the tree planting program.
I also want to appeal you to support us in the restoration of Nairobi rivers. We have a program for the restoration of Nairobi River that is under very serious pollution, and we have a very serious program. And I think both C4 ICRAF and ICRAF Kenya can play a role to assist us.
Now, the world is mourning the death of Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi, who perished in a chopper crash on Sunday. The late Raisi died alongside Iran's Foreign Affairs Minister on Sunday. President William Ruto, who is speaking anytime from now from Atlanta, Georgia, eulogized the late Raisi as a firm leader committed to the causes he believed in, and also sought to elevate Iran's standing on the global stage. Irene Muchuma Odim puts that story in perspective.
Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi was declared a martyr with his death announced at the country's most important religious site, the shrine of Imam Reza in the city of Mashhad. The wreckage of the helicopter that killed Raisi and 8 others was recovered Monday. Raisi had been in Azerbaijan early on Sunday to inaugurate a dam with the country's president, Ilham Aliyev. President William Ruto joined the world in mourning the death of Raisi. Ruto eulogized Raisi as a fearless leader. According to Ruto, Kenya and the Republic of Iran share cordial relations signified by the fact that in his first ever trip to the African continent as president, Raisi chose Kenya as his first destination. Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is also Kenya's Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi, eulogized the late Raisi and Iran's Foreign Affairs Minister Hossein Abdollahian as focused leaders with invested energy in enhancing relations between Iran and its friendly nations, Kenya included. Iran is constitutionally expected to conduct presidential election within 50 days, of which before then, Iran's Vice President, Mohammad Mokhber, is the country's interim president. Irene Mchuma Odim, the Prime Edition.
Now, the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation's new managing director, Agnes Kaleche, has committed to using her vast experience in the media industry to propel the national broadcaster to great heights in terms of service delivery. Kaleche, who assumed the office Monday after her appointment to the position last weekend, committed to working and cooperating with the KBC staff and management to achieve the best for the national broadcaster. She takes over from Paul Macharia, who has been the corporation's managing director in an acting capacity. Before her appointment, Kaleche served as Chief Operations Officer at Radio Africa Group and also the chair of the Media Owners Association of Kenya. She is the first woman to serve at the helm of KBC since its inception.
The Kenya Broadcasting Corporation now has a substantive managing director after Agnes Kaleche Nguna assumed office on Monday, following her appointment to the position on Saturday last week. Speaking during the official handover at KBC, Ms. Kaleche, appointed to serve for 3 years, pledged to work with the staff and the management to improve the corporation's service delivery.
Our national broadcaster has the power to shape opinions, challenge social norms, and inspire positive change. Our responsibility is to serve our citizens, ensuring our content is accessible, relevant, and engaging for everyone, regardless of age, background, or location. It is an honor to lead this organization and contribute to its growth and impact.
At the same time, she committed to steer the broadcasting giant to greater heights.
I encourage you, the public, to engage with us, share your ideas, and hold us accountable. Your continued support and trust are essential to our success. We pledge to be transparent, accountable, and responsible in our operation, ensuring that our resources are utilized efficiently and effectively. Together, we can reemerge the role of KBC, ensuring that it remains a beacon of excellence, a champion of diversity, and a trusted companion for generations to come.
I am certain that her experience and leadership record in the Kenyan media industry will steer this giant corporation to greater heights. KBC possesses immense potential to be a market leader in Kenya's media sector, and I can certainly say it is in great hands.
As a board, we are really delighted that Agnes comes in at a time when there is huge opportunity in media, and particularly for the national broadcasting media, which in the face of all other issues that currently confront media, is the one most prepared and probably most qualified to survive and do well.
Her assumption to office marks a new dawn for the corporation, which since its inception has never had a woman in the position. Kaleche also succeeds former KBC Managing Director Dr. Naim Bilal, whose tenure ended in March 2022. Before her appointment, Kaleche served as Chief Operations Officer at Radio Africa Group and also as the chair of the Media Owners Association of Kenya. She becomes the 13th Managing Director at the Broadcasting House, which boasts of 2 television stations, 4 public service radio stations, and 11 public commercial radio stations. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Congratulations to the new Managing Director. We wish her well as she steers the national broadcaster to even greater heights. Now let's go to Butula, that's in Busia County, where a family is seeking for justice after their kin allegedly died while giving birth at the Lunganyiro hospital in the neighboring Kakamega County. The family claims that Eunice Anyango lost her life together with her unborn child after the hospital hacked an ambulance to transfer the patient to a more specialized health facility. The family now wants action to be taken against the Kakamega County Health Department for laxity. And as Timothy Kipnusu reports, a section of the members of Kakamega County Assembly have faulted the county government for allegedly failing to ensure that health facilities are fully equipped, even after passing a budget that ensures that the health department is financially stable.
The death of an expectant mother and her baby at Lunganyiro Hospital in Matungu constituency in Kakamega County has ignited the wrath of the family members who want punitive actions to be taken against those involved. The family of Eunice Anyango from Maholo village in Butula constituency, Busia County, believe that their kin died due to negligence in the health facility.
Kazini yangu ameenda kwa sababu ya utepetevu wa madaktari na ukosefu wa facilities ambazo zinafaa ziwe hospitalini.
Saidia mtoto wangu sasa, sina mnamna kwa nyumba, sina yani kuleta mtoto alikuwa hakuko mochari.
The deceased husband Abel Nyongesa narrates how he rushed his expectant wife at the facility only to lose her in the hands of the healthcare workers.
Kwenda kuchukua ile gari haina mafuta. Kurudi tena huko kwa hospitali nikapata marehemu ameshaaga.
A section of members of Kakamega County Assembly has faulted the county government for failing to ensure hospitals are fully equipped, even after passing a budget that ensures the health department is financially capacitated.
Tunaingia mwaka mwingine mpya, lakini hospitali za county kama hii zimepata pesa mara 2 peke yake kutoka kwenye county.
Nashukuru madaktari kwa kurudi kazini na zile ambulance services zetu ambazo tulikuwa na shida kidogo pale nyuma. Tulikuwa na deni kubwa ambalo lilikuwa la serikali iliyopita na hivi sasa tumelipa hilo deni.
Timothy Kipnusu for Prime Edition.
Now, let's look at an item here on the world food safety. Approximately 600 million people fall ill due to contaminated food, resulting from 420 deaths annually across the world. According to the Ministry of Health, food-borne diseases account for 70% of diarrhea cases reported in the country. The Ministry of Health is, however, expressing hope that the impending passing of the Food and Feed Bill will curb the disease burden.
Ahead of this year's World Food Safety Day celebrations to be marked nationally on June 7th, the Ministry of Health is making a passionate appeal to Kenyans to practice safe handling of foods at home. Principal Secretary for Public Health Mary Muriuki says the government is keen to curb deaths resulting from consumption of contaminated foods.
In the world, every year, approximately 600 million people fall ill from food, of contaminated food. And this translates to about 1 in 10 people globally experiencing foodborne diseases.
She says the Ministry of Health is currently lobbying Cabinet to pass the Food and Feed Bill, which will integrate operations in the food industry, including food inspection.
And we are very keen to have it passed and signed, because what is happening right now, there's a lot of disintegrated operation among the players, from development partners, private sector, the MDAs, the ministries.
The PS has also noted that community health promoters in the country will be expected to sensitize Kenyans on the importance of adhering to food safety regulations. Kenya will mark World Food Safety Day with various activities lined up from the 4th to 7th June under the theme Food Safety, Prepare for the Unexpected.
Ask the questions of where is my food coming from? How has it been grown? There is more to it than just the environment within which the food is being served, but are we able to trace what I am eating from farm to fork? And if we, as consumers, ask those hard questions, then the food operator will take more interest in ensuring that what is being served is safe.
And my appeal today is for the private sector in Kenya to support the food safety issue, to take responsibility, to ensure that the food safety for the Kenyan citizen is in place, that they are comfortable eating their food, but also because of economic growth.
For Prime Edition, I'm Joseph Ohungu.
President Ruto to speak tonight live from Atlanta, Georgia, on his first of the 4-day state visit to the United States. And of course, later on in the world of sports, Dick Abuya and Elvis Rupia return to their national team Harambee Stars. All that coming up after this short break. Stay with us.
Work Injury Benefits Act, WIBA, guarantees that employees get financial compensation from their employers when by accident they suffer injury, become disabled, contract occupational disease, or die while at work. WIBA insurance protects employers from financial liabilities which may arise from their employees' work-related injuries, death, and occupational disease. Read and understand the terms and conditions of your policy. This message is brought to you by the Insurance Regulatory Authority. IRA, Bima Bora kwa Taifa.
Kurumisha ndege. Aviator instant game. Be a daring pilot and earn by how much high you can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Are you looking for competent college training founded on Christian background? Sensei Institute of Technology is the right place. Welcome to the home of great practical skills where learning is hands-on, the CBC way, and everyone has potential.
I'm Silvano Magez Mugisha from Uganda. I'm a student in Sensei Institute of Technology. I've taken several courses in Sensei, which is plant operator, plant mechanics, automotive electronics, and solar installation and CCTV. The reason why I've done all those courses with Sensei, Sensei gives the best practical skills in all fields, and these skills always help us to provide our best to the society. I've had a very good experience with Sensei because the teaching staff of Sensei do not only act like teachers, but they even act like parents. So they have given me a good experience in school and outside school.
All you need is your ID card to be admitted to either of our 2 campuses in Nairobi and Nakuru. Call us on 0717 951 055 or 0729 891 301. Sensei Institute of Technology. My skills, my future.
For 60 years, the African Development Bank Group has played an integral part in Africa's socio-economic transformation. From the 27th to the 31st of May 2024, the African Development Bank Group will host its 2024 annual meetings at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi, Kenya. This year's theme will be Africa's Transformation, the African Development Bank Group, and Reform of the Global Financial Architecture. The high-level meetings will be hosted by the President of Kenya, His Excellency Honorable Dr. William Ruto, and the President of the African Development Bank Group, Akinwumi Adesina, and will convene African leaders, development partners, private sector actors, civil society organizations, youth, among other stakeholders. This event will be live on KBC Channel 1.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
Welcome back, our socials at KBC Channel 1, straight into the corridors of justice, where a police officer and a man posing as a Kenya Defence Force officer and 2 other accused persons will now know their fate on a bond application this Wednesday after the court deferred the ruling. Aziz Ali Keoka is accused of neglecting his official duties and declining to surrender 14 rounds of ammunition to the armory, while his co-accused are accused of giving false information by forging documents and also being in possession of disciplined forces equipment. Details of this and more in the Scales of Justice segment.
According to the prosecution, Ali Keokia allegedly failed to surrender 3 tear gas canisters to armory as required by the NPS Act. Kofi Bill Atinda is accused of posing as an officer of the rank of a captain at KDF, thus preventing police officers from arresting and conducting a search on his vehicle. His personal driver and a businessman are accused of being in possession of equipment meant for disciplined forces, including radio calls and tear gas canisters.
He has never been charged in any court of law and will abide by whatever bail terms and conditions of this court may impose.
And the reason that has been advanced to that effect is that the details that have been given by the witnesses, the alleged witnesses who have not been disclosed, differ from the document that he has.
However, defense lawyers put up a spirited fight to secure their release, with prosecution urging the court to deny them bail or bond pending investigations.
22nd of this month at 9:30 a.m. in the morning.
On the same breath, the suspect, namely Judge Kojo Odera, has been charged for being in possession of 10 rounds of ammunition. The Office of the Director of Public Prosecution told trial magistrate Robinson Ondeki that the accused had intended to use the firearm in a manner prejudicial to public order without a firearm certificate.
So there's a plea of not guilty. The case will be mentioned in court number 5 on the 3rd of June 2024. The accused may be released on a bond of 200,000 shillings plus one surety of the same amount, or a cash bail of 100,000 shillings.
Elsewhere, Milimani's Anti-Corruption Court Magistrate Celesa Okore has set July 17th as the pre-trial conference of 4 suspects in the 209 million shillings fake fertilizer scam matter. The prosecution told the court that the documentary evidence available was very bulky and needed more time to supply to the defense. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
From the corridors of justice, let's now look at the UDA party grassroots update. The United Democratic Alliance, or UDA party if you like, has completed ward-level elections in Narok County and is now waiting to move to the sub-county level elections on the 25th of May. The team led by Governor Patrick Ntutu praised the party National Election Board for its conduct during the party primaries conducted on the 18th of May 2024 at the ward level. Here's that report.
The United Democratic Alliance UDA party has completed ward-level elections successfully in Narok County. Speaking in Narok, the team led by Governor Patrick Ntutu praised the party National Election Board during the party primaries.
Nataka niwashukuru sana chama yetu ya UDA, hasa headquarters wakiongozwa na Chairman Maura wa National Election Board kwa kazi mzuri ambayo wamefanya. Ile mpangilio yote, zile gadgets ambazo zimekuja hapa, zilikuja on time na tukaenda kupiga kura, hatuna malalamishi hata kidogo.
On her part, Woman Representative Rebecca Tonkei added that the party supporters approved in the concluded grassroots elections that the governor should be the chairperson of the UDA party at the county level.
Jinsi president wetu ni party leader, hivyo ndivyo hata katika county yetu president wetu ama chairman wetu atakuwa none other than Governor Patrick Ole Ntutu. Hakuna njia ambaye tungemleta, na hiyo ndio ilikuwa kisungumuti kwa wananchi wa Narok County. Tungemleta mbunge aje kuwa ndiye anatawala chama ati governor enda akae kama member.
Elsewhere, political advisor to the president Karisa Nzai has called on UDA political leaders in Mombasa County to keep their differences aside and work towards ensuring that the grassroots elections slated for June are peaceful. He noted that the party should serve as a good example for other political parties since it's the ruling party. He spoke during a meeting with UDA members from Jomvu constituency.
Tusivuke mipaka wakati tunapotafuta viti. Tunapaswa kukaa kuleta watu wote pamoja. Hakuna haja ya kutukana kiongozi anasimama anatukana mwenzake na anamtukana kwa mambo ambayo hamwezi kurudiana. Hapana, tunapaswa kuleta watu wote wa Mombasa pamoja. Tusitoe aibu zetu nje. Watu wakaona kana kwamba hatujielewi.
In Kilifi, leaders allied to the ruling UDA party have officially launched the exercise to register its members before the grassroots party leadership elections slated for August this year. Led by Abdurrahman Omar, who was a representative of Uganda Ward, who also intends to vie for Malindi parliamentary seat, the leaders say that they will ensure UDA party is popular so that it can have elected leaders in parliament.
Tumesema sisi kama viongozi tutafanya uchaguzi wa amani, wa upendo na umoja. Tuhakikisha chama chetu chaendelea mbele bila ubaguzi wala fitina.
Tonight on the cabinet, we focus on Musa Sirma, as a pioneer Eldama Ravine member of parliament who had been nicknamed Governor of the Rift Valley for his popularity and also style of politics. Sirma, remember, served as Minister for East African Community in President Mwai Kibaki's administration.
Musa Sirma was born on July 17, 1961. He went to Kambimoy Primary School from 1969 to 1975 and Baringo High School for his O-level and Leighton Njoro Boys High School for the A-level education. He later joined Egerton College, now Egerton University, for a diploma course in forestry, where he graduated with a distinction. He then acquired a Bachelor of Science degree in Environmental Science from Mount Kenya University between 2013 to 2016. After college, from 1986 to 1997, he was employed as a district forest officer. It was while in this position between the late 1980s and mid-1990s that he owned a sawmill in the Mumberes area of Eldama Ravine, a clear conflict of interest for the man charged with the responsibility of preserving forests. He threw his heart in the ring for the new Eldama Ravine constituency and won on a KANU ticket in the 1997 general election. From 2010 to 2013, Sirma was appointed Minister for East African Cooperation. His appointment as Minister for East African Community in the dying days of the Government of National Unity under President Mwai Kibaki and Prime Minister Raila Odinga did not surprise many. In 2013, he tried to regain his old constituency seat on an ODM ticket, but failed to stem the Ruto-led United Republican Party URP wave that was sweeping through the Rift Valley. In the 2017 elections, Sirma vied for the dominant Jubilee Party ticket, but lost in the primaries. He then contested the seat as an independent candidate using the symbol of a buffalo, his clan's totem. He lost again. Not content with the results, he filed a petition to overturn the outcome, citing irregularities in the polls. After losing the petition and subsequent appeals, he took a low profile until July 2019, when he surfaced and declared that he had ditched DP Ruto and was joining KANU to support the former president's youngest son. Ironically, it was Sirma who hosted a big rally in 2006 that installed Ruto as a Kalenjin spokesman and blessed him through the famous Eldama Ravine Declaration to seek the highest office in the land through ODM. Jackie Wambiru, The Cabinet.
Shamba ni mbili, yako ni gani? Kwenye star 570 hash. Every 100 shillings unayotumia kwa Lucky Game inakupa 1 entry point ya kuingia kwenye drum ya draw, ambayo inakupa fursa ya kujishindia moja kati ya shamba hizi mbili. Mwisho wa April namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings na unapata title deed yako safi. Na mwisho wa Mei namtangaza mshindi wa shamba hili la 1.1 million Kenyan shillings, lori za mawe na mchanga. Ploti ndizo hizi. Dial star 570 hash. Title deed ndio hii. Vuka na shake.
Well, I trust that you've had a wonderful day. Time to take a look at the day's business news. And we kick off with the 2024 Economic Survey, where the economy created 844,000 jobs in 2023, after 5.6%. The Kenya National Bureau of Statistics says the informal sector created a majority of the jobs with 721,000, while the formal sector created 123,000 jobs. National Treasury Cabinet Secretary Njuguna Ndung'u says this year's growth is likely to be dragged by various shocks, like the ongoing floods and supply-side shocks due to global geopolitics. Early this year, the National Treasury projected the economy to expand by 5.5% in 2024.
And we're going to bring that story for you just in a bit. But first, let's cross over to Atlanta, Georgia, where President William Ruto is delivering a speech from the Jimmy Carter Library and Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, he's there on a 4-day state visit. Let's cross over there now.
Noble endeavors and a fitting tribute to the global legacy of a distinguished American leader and humanitarian. I thank the leadership of this center for hosting and providing me with a unique opportunity to honor an exemplary American whose commitment to leadership, governance, democracy, and human welfare has made him a respected global citizen. His political career may have concluded, but his influence as a leader endures. 100 years this October. I wish him good health and happiness. My visit here reminds me of the first state visit by a Kenyan leader to the US in the 1980, when President Carter invited President to America. President continues his engagement with Kenya, where he especially for victims of overlooked conflict and humanitarian crisis. President Carter and his legacy and the Episcopal Center in 1994, for example, with substantial support from the center, Kenya became one of the first countries to stop the transmission of guinea worm disease. And we thank this center immensely. Today, Kenya stands as a more confident democracy, thanks in part to President Carter's personal support and the center's institutional contribution. This center is founded on a deep commitment to human rights and alleviation of human suffering. Its impactful work has improved millions of lives worldwide by contributing to conflict resolution, promoting democracy, democratic norms, building an accountable institutions, and supporting disease prevention. The commitment of this center reflects our own, highlighting the common heritage centered on human well-being, security, and dignity. The historic events and the United States of America as proud, free, and democratic nations, though centuries apart, are very identical. Kenya as the United States. The height of Kenya's liberation struggle, the US, a global democratic giant of our freedom. The benefit taken progressive champion. The partnership was evident. America fully how in the writing of our first constitution to define our debate, negotiations, and compromise, helping us navigate challenges and make necessary progress as a country. This collaboration also sowed the mustard seed of people-to-people collaboration in the form of the historic Student Airlift Program, initiated by President J.F. Kennedy, a program which enabled hundreds of Kenyans to pursue higher education in U.S. colleges and universities, equipping our new independent nation with a cadre of well-educated and skilled leaders. These strategic and thoughtful interventions reflected our shared values and empowered our young nation to stand confidently on its own and forge a path that we celebrate even today. Let me say this. Tomorrow, we expand this historic collaboration with 5 Kenyan universities signing a student exchange program with the experience. We are in our programs. No, we continue on only robust and serve during the watchdog of our civic space, the media, and ensure development and essential for the fight against corruption imperative. We confront our entire criminal justice system, including investigations, prosecutions, and judicial processes. We are also enhancing all human, operational, and technical, including hiring a record 46 judges in the last 1.5 years. It is crucial to view these developments as the natural consequences of our constitutional framework, which establishes a representative democracy of powers, prevents any single power. Additionally, it enhances fundamental freedoms, empowers citizens to actively participate in processes that affect their interests, and safeguards the freedom of expression and assembly. Our Constitution also safeguards equality, inclusion, and affirmative action for women, the marginalized, and minorities. It requires the state to support citizens in realizing their full potential and transforms expectations around social services and attendant opportunities into fundamental rights, while demanding a response both a state obligation and also a citizen's right. Since the people of Kenya are the ultimate holders of all sovereign power, leaders like myself and many seated here have an irrevocable covenant to return to the ballot politicians of democratic it was particularly very interesting. Me to decide, or the system was to decide, a different person would be. It is Kenya who decided. Over time, significant transparent election for vote.
President William Ruto there delivering his speech keynote at the Jimmy Carter Library and Museum in Atlanta, Georgia. Of course, the president speaking about a number of issues ranging from democracy to the shared commitment to governance, anti-corruption measures that his government had put in place. The president also reflecting on a number of issues, despite those hiccups that we noted there on that connection with the US of A. But later on, we'll be bringing you a clearer picture of what the president said that included, he spoke about a number of things. He spoke about the historic students airlift of programs, but I understand that our feed to the US of A has stabilized. So let's just go back and listen to the remainder of the president's speech. Oh, I understand it's on and off, but here's the guarantee that I can give you. We have our team in the US. Of course, they will be putting together a seamless production, which we will be able then to bring to you at the appropriate time. But the president, of course, talking about a lot of issues, including equality, inclusivity. We did hear him say that the government, the Kenya Kwanza government, working very hard on affirmative action, especially for the minority groups. He also touched on a possible exchange program of universities there in the USA and here in Kenya. Of course, we will be getting more clarity once we have put together that speech. Very important speech. Remember, the president is on a 4-day visit to the United States of America. His itinerary, of course, we expect that he will be also moving to other areas. Let's just look at what we have once that link stabilizes. So I'll hand over to my colleague Wairimo, who was bringing us the day's business. She had introduced a story. I don't know whether we will run the story or we will go back to Nimo to introduce the story once again. But thank you for your patience. My promise is that we will be able to bring you a seamless speech from His Excellency the President in Atlanta, Georgia.
And Tom, just to add on to what you were saying, remember on the sidelines, of course, the president also traveled with the Kenyan business delegation and also about 31 exhibitors who are in the US to market opportunities that are available in Kenya. And remember, the US is the second largest destination of our exports. Remember, we export apparel and textile from our EPZs in Athi River. Now, moving on to the stories of the day, as earlier on had indicated, the Kenya economy created 844,000 jobs in 2023, even after the economy expanded by 5.6%. Let's take a look at that story.
The 2023 Economy Survey attributes the increased growth of the economy to the agriculture, forestry and fishing sectors that cumulatively contributed 19.8% to the GDP, owing to favorable weather conditions experienced in 2023, as well as the government's intervention through the subsidized fertilizer program. This notwithstanding, the Bureau further notes that the economy may be hampered by risks related to unpredictable weather patterns that could negatively affect agricultural production, increasing inflation pressures.
When we look at all the way from 2019, that's the last 5 years, 2019 up to now, we noted that 2019, we didn't grow so much, but in 2020, the growth was reasonably high. So remember when our GDP was negative 0.3, when basically all the other sectors kind of went down, we were saved by agriculture.
The financial and insurance sectors came in at the second spot, contributing 16.6% to the country's GDP. Further, the survey notes that the insurance subsector grew by 12.7% as compared to 12.4% in 2022. Under this, net premiums from life assurance and general assurance expanded by 16.0% and 7% respectively in 2023 on the back of increased uptake of insurance covers. The real estate sector was the third highest contributor to the economy at 13.3%. The number of housing units completed under the Affordable Housing Program was up to 3,357 from 1,390. Expenditure on housing also grew to 92.5 billion shillings in the 2023-2024 financial year, an increase from 9.1 billion shillings from the previous period.
We have to look for ways and means of trying to ignite strong growth and to sustain that growth. And that is where economic recovery will become very, very strong and it will be supporting us all through.
Despite the growth reflected, some sectors significantly declined, with mining and quarrying reflecting the biggest decline by 4.3%, from 35.2 billion shillings in 2022 to 33.7 billion shillings in 2023. Nduta Mokami for Prime Edition.
Now, still on the economic survey, we look at the agriculture sector and how it performed. Now, favorable weather condition, expansion of the subsidized fertilizer program, powered by an increase in land under farming activities, helped the agriculture sector bounce back from 2 years of contraction to a 7% growth in 2023. The agriculture sector contracted by 0.3% in 2021 and 2.3% in 2022. According to the 2024 Economic Survey, the fertilizer subsidy program contributed significantly to a rebound of the agriculture sector, which bounced back from 2 consecutive years of registering declines. This, coupled with improved weather conditions and expansion in area under crop, saw the sector register a growth of 7% in 2023 as compared to a contraction of 2.3% recorded in 2022, attributed to the worst drought to hit Kenya in 4 decades.
Persistent shocks, they leave layers and layers of impact. But we have seen from the economic survey that economic recovery in 2023 is actually signaling a very strong economic recovery. It is quite important that we can defend and protect that economic recovery.
Manufacturing sector decelerated to 2% in 2023 compared to a growth of 2.6% in 2022 on account of a 40% decline in the manufacture of sugar.
Sugar declined. The assembly of vehicles also declined by 2.7%. We have maize flour also declined by 2.2% to stand at 625.5 thousand tons.
In the energy sector, installed electricity decreased from 3,321 megawatts in 2022 to 3,243 megawatts in 2023, attributed to a decline in generation from hydro and thermal. The survey indicates that there was high prices and low demand for petroleum products. The construction sector slowed to a 3%, up from 4.1% in 2022, attributed to a decrease in cement consumption despite increased construction powered by the Affordable Housing Program and roads. Now, Kenya's exports crossed the 1 trillion shillings mark in 2023, powered by increases in tea and horticulture that contributed 41.5% of the total value of shipments. Imports rose at a slower pace of 4.9% to 2.6 trillion shillings, helping slightly narrow the balance of trade to 1.6 trillion shillings.
The latest data from the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics indicates that the balance of trade narrowed from a negative position of 1.617 trillion shillings in 2022 to 1.6 trillion shillings. This was helped by a 134 billion shillings increase in exports as compared to 121 billion shillings growth in imports. Shipments from the agriculture sector were the key drivers of increased exports, with horticultural products and tea jointly accounting for 41.5% of the total earnings from shipments.
On the other hand, our export majorly was composed of tea, then horticulture, then apparel and clothing. This is the issue of the EPZ.
Imports, on the other hand, grew at a slower pace, registering an overall increase of 4.9% to 2.6 trillion shillings. This was spurred by increased import of sugar, rice, fertilizer, and unmilled wheat.
Look at the top 5 import commodities. It is actually petroleum products. Then we have the industrial machineries. We have the animal and vegetable oil, stroke fats. We have iron and steel, and then unmilled wheat.
43.2% of Kenyan exports were destined for the African market, with Uganda remaining as the largest market for Kenyan products after buying 126.3 billion shillings from Kenya. Imports from Asia contributed to 66.5% of the total imports expenditure at 1.737 trillion shillings, with China accounting for 459 billion shillings of the total amount.
Now, the government will ride on Kenya's power infrastructure to drive last-mile internet coverage under the Digital Superhighway program, while launching a Jitume Lab in Ruiru constituency, Kiambu County. Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo stated that the partnership will increase efficiency and reduce operational costs.
So far, the government has laid 13,712 kilometers of fiber cable and increased the number of public Wi-Fi hotspots from 14 in 2022 to 1,222 in 2023. The government plans to lay 100,000 kilometers of the national fiber optic network to provide internet to all schools, government institutions, offices, health facilities, rural businesses, homes and public spaces.
We started this program. We have managed to train 390,000 youth over the past 1 year. And in equal measure, we have created over 139,000 digital jobs for the youth. So this is a game changer.
The Jitume program targets to empower over 1 million youth in the country to access reasonable and sustainable income, to provide infrastructure and over 23,000 digital services to centers.
Serikali inagharamia 100 kwa 100, walimu ni wa serikali, tarakilishi ni za serikali, nyumba ni ya serikali. Wewe kazi yako mzazi ni kuleta mtoto asome aweze kujiajiri.
Information, Communication and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo urged the youth to utilize the digital skills acquired during the training to assist them convert from learners to earners. So far, 137 Jitume sites have been set up across the country. Regina Manyara reporting for Prime Edition.
Thank you, Regina Manyara, for that report. That marks the end of business news tonight. My name is Weri Mujenga. Have a good night. On the other end of the studio, we have Daniel Wahome with the sports updates.
The sun when it starts to snow. Only know you love her when you let her go. Oh. You say it, but you don't mean it. You say it, but me not believe it. Labda si wote wenda zimu, labda lana yetu pesa. Kesho kipoteza kila kitu, dunia mzima itakucheka.
Multi-bonus. Zidisha ushindi wako hadi 1,000,000 na multi-bonus 1,000%. Kuwa mshindi. Mozartbet.
Sports News is brought to you by Musa.
Good evening to you. My name is Daniel Wahome and welcome to Prime Edition Sport. Duke Abuya and Elvis Rupia have returned to the national soccer team Harambee Stars ahead of their 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers against Burundi and Cote d'Ivoire, respectively. Abuya and Rupia missed in coach Engin Firat's squad that competed in the Four Nations tournament in Malawi in March. Coach Firat has also named new faces in the team, among them Kenya Police defender Brian Okoth and Gor Mahia's Austin Odhiambo. Harambee Stars will begin their preparations in Nairobi tomorrow ahead of their fixtures against Burundi on the 7th of next month and then against reigning African champions Cote d'Ivoire 4 days later. Egypt's Zamalek are the 2024 CAF Confederation Cup champions. Zamalek, who sit 13th in Egypt's Premier League, narrowly defeated Morocco's Renaissance Berkane by a goal to nil in a thrilling second leg of the final played at the Cairo International Stadium last night and was live on KBC Channel 1 to clinch their second title on away goals rule. The White Knights, Ahmed Hamdi's 23rd minute lone goal, denied RS Berkane their third continental title, a quest they have waited for 4 years. Despite losing 2-1 in the first leg, their 1-0 second leg win handed Zamalek a continental title.
Champions gathering round. And it's Shikabala to lift the trophy. Shikabala coming up to his teammates and lifting.
And while 800-meter silver medalist Emmanuel Wanyonyi continued his Diamond League winning streak by winning the Rabat meeting in Morocco last night, Wanyonyi won his race in 1 minute 43.98 seconds and will also be heading for the next round, the Pre-Fontaine Classic in Eugene this weekend.
Emmanuel Wanyonyi pulled away from the field that included Commonwealth Games champion Wycliffe Kinyamal and Olympic champion Emmanuel Correa. The 19-year-old cut the tape in a time of 1 minute 43.98 seconds ahead of Kinyamal, who settled for second place. Yanis Mezian completed the podium as the reigning Olympic champion Emmanuel Correa finished 9th in the race.
Go backwards really in treacle there, but Wanyonyi holds on, 1:43.84.
In the men's steeplechase, Amos Serem finished in third position in 8 minutes, 10.82 seconds, in a race won by world champion Sufyan El Bakali. Ethiopian Getnet Wale finished second. In the women's 5,000 meters, Edna Jebitok finished third behind the Ethiopian duo of Elsa Medina and Tesfaye 14. Jebitok clocked a new personal best time of 14 minutes, 35.64 seconds. In the men's 1,500 meters, Vincent Kibet was the sole Kenyan athlete and finished last in 3 minutes, 46.75 seconds. Nora Mwangi for Prime Edition Sports.
8:09.40.
Now it is do or die for the Kenyan boxers heading to Bangkok tomorrow for the World Olympic qualifiers, scheduled to start on Friday and run till the 2nd of June this year. The team of 6 comprises 3 women and 3 men who must win their respective bouts in order to make it to the Olympics this year, being the last qualifying event.
The team of 6 were among 18 boxers who have been in non-residential camp at Mathare Police Depot for a month in preparation for the boxing qualifiers, which is the last chance for those who are yet to book their Olympic ticket. They will be captained by Africa middleweight champion Elizabeth Andiego, who will be joined by Africa bantamweight bronze medalist Amina Martha and Frieza Onyango, who was the only Kenyan to win a bout in the world qualifiers in Italy in the welterweight division.
So far the training has been good. There's been no injuries. We are focused. We are ready to go for the Olympic tickets. Yeah.
Deputy Captain Boniface Mogunde, who won bronze in 2019 Africa Championships, will be joined by African light heavyweight champion Edwin Okongo and heavyweight Peter Abuti.
We have big expectation in this tournament because this is our last qualifiers. Na it's going to be big, inaenda kuwa kubwa, it's going to be, watu wanaenda kuwa wengi. So it's going to be tough, but I believe that everything is possible.
Head coach Musa Benjamin said it will not be easy as everybody will be putting their best foot forward, but they are determined to come out victorious.
Well, definitely the number one objective for this training camp and for this tournament is to qualify for Olympics. So there's nothing else in our mind except qualifying for the Olympics. That's all we want to do.
The team leaves tomorrow for the World Olympic qualifiers, scheduled for 24th to 2nd June in Bangkok, Thailand. Faith Akinyi for Prime Edition.
And that's the sport for tonight, and we wish our boxers well. Remember, only 2 sports have brought Olympic medals to Kenya: athletics and boxing. My name is Daniel Wahome. Back to Tom Mboya.
Sports News was brought to you by Mozart Bet.
You can lift the plane. The higher you fly, the higher your win. The sky is the limit. Mozart Bet.
Many thanks indeed to Daniel Wahome for bringing us that sporty update, and of course Wairimu Njenga for delivering the latest in the space of business. The president, of course, delivering a keynote speech on democracy in Atlanta, Georgia, in the US of A. We understand later on he will visit the Ebenezer Baptist Church to pay homage to the civil rights struggle and emphasize on how religion can be a force for good. His third engagement, by the way, before we go, will focus on the US-Kenya Health Partnership of the Center for Disease Control, CDC headquarters. Of course, during his stay in Atlanta, he's also expected to meet Kenyans who are living in Atlanta. Plus, for the creatives, this is good news. The president will be visiting the Tyler Perry Studios. Of course, we all know what Tyler Perry does. And so we will be having our pulse on that story. I want to thank you on behalf of the entire Prime Edition team. My name is Mboya, our sign language interpreter. There she is, smiling in the style of a mile per while. Let's see her name through the sign language. What's your name? That's it. That's it, Susan Thiko. I want to thank you for watching. We will be back again tomorrow. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Back to the future. The future is simulate. Bet smarter. Win faster now. Be a winner. Mozart Bet.
Technology has become a crucial part of our society. Without technological advancements, so much of our everyday lives would be drastically different. As technology develops, it strives to fulfill the changing needs of society. This means that technology exists to help us achieve the things that we wouldn't be able to achieve without it. Take on Tech looks at the advantages and downside of technological innovation in a world that is becoming increasingly dependent on new digital technologies. Every Monday at 10:30 p.m.
A great day it is. Welcome to Grippa, and this is the baddest show on this side of the Sahara, if I do say so myself. How are you?
Well, go on. Welcome to the biggest, the baddest entertainment show in the 254, man. You already know this is Grapevine. Love.
Yes, and this is why you get to know everything that has been happening and is happening in the world of entertainment, and specifically when we're talking about events. Now, we will let you know the events that went down over the weekend.
Yo, man. Yeah.
But before that, there's something that has been happening. There's something that has been trending, rather, and that is Wild and Out by Nick Cannon. Now, Wild and Out are spreading their wings. They're coming to Africa.
Whoa.
And guess what? Kenya is among the countries that will be participating.
I believe, you know, Lovi of Longombas, yeah? Must be the link for, you know, this guy is coming to Kenya.
Yeah, you think so?
Yes, because, you know, Lovi has been really in good books with Nick Cannon. Yeah, and that might be the reason why, you know, these guys decided to
chosen
include
Kenya.
Exactly, Kenya specifically, not TZ, not Uganda, Kenya. What do you think?
I don't know about Lovi being the link, but all I know is that Nick Cannon is bringing Wild and Out to Kenya. And this is a call to every comedian out there who believes in their craft. When Nick Cannon mentions the dates and they come to Kenya finally and start scouting for people, I hope that you will come out in numbers. Na musi tuaibishe. You just do a good thing.
DJ Shitty.
I don't know.
Win this thing.
Anyway.
And on the Nyuka quarter, by the way.
Really?
On the Nyuka quarter, DJ, I'm rooting for these two guys.
I don't know. I don't know, man. You know, the thing is, the comedy in Wild and Out is a bit different from the comedy that we have here.
It's a
but
challenge.
It's okay. It's okay.
It's a challenge. They will have to, you know.
Yeah, I know we have people who are really good in this country. Anyway, you know what this right here is?
Grapevine.
Yeah.
What you gotta do?
All right, we are kicking off the show with a cultural event that went down at the Carnival restaurant dubbed Ma Cultural Night, man. And this time round, it was not only about, you know, the good music from the Maasai community and the dances. No, it was all about, you know, empowering the young creatives from the Ma community. Let's check it out.
Ma Cultural Night is an event dedicated to showcasing and celebrating the rich cultural heritage of the Maasai people, an indigenous ethnic group in Kenya. Maasai community is one of the very few tribes in Kenya who have retained most of their traditions, lifestyle, and lore. An event that went down at the Carnival restaurant, sponsored by Nosim FM and KBC Channel 1, attracted a huge number from the Ma community together in the celebration of their culture and promoting and supporting talent of the young creatives from the Ma community.
Super. Vivian Cheteya, Nara Enolele Main, Kadyoshi program Kenya Enkisha Enosim. Ijarusaro monobo ometaba ikiso ngwanenka Kenya nikiteja sholeng ma creative kitaate nebo asholeng.
The celebrations typically feature various aspects of Maasai culture, including traditional music from Nelson Ngetiek, Moso Paul, Happiness, Sanino Blessed, among other artists. They got to entertain their fans with traditional music accompanied by rhythmic drumming and chanting. They did this alongside vibrant and energetic dances, which involves the famous nodding of the head for both men and women in elaborate costumes. Maasai clothing such as brightly colored shukas, cloth wraps, beaded jewelry, and ornate head dresses was the attire of the night, which symbolizes and holds cultural significance.
For example, nimevaa nkononkoi. This is called nkononkoi in my language. So here, for example, hizi vitu, like ukiimba, unasikia zina produce some sound. So like that's the purpose of almost hizi vitu zote zenye zina produce hii sound. So ukiimba zina produce your sound. So like we relied on this for our beats. hatukuwa tuna rely on the keyboards, like tulikuwa tuna rely on this for the best beats. So kuna venye unatingiza ina produce a sweet sound. So kuna hii inaitwa mporo. Mostly ata like the mothers wakipelekewa zile zawadi, maybe watoi wao walikuwa wanawapelekea hii in the kitambo, sika sahi and like sahi like blessings wana